So what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Let's get straight into this video, you guys. We're going to be doing a quick breakdown on the NASDAQ's price action from Friday, which is actually today still. It is Halloween. Happy Halloween to anybody who celebrated. I really don't celebrate it myself. Honestly, I have before, but let's just get into this risk disclaimer, you guys. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. This video is purely intended for me to educate you guys on prop firms and pretty much the things that I do and how my trading journey is going, you guys. So let's get straight into this video. All right, so today we're going to be looking at the NASDAQ, you guys. And before we get too deep into this video, let me do a quick, mic check. Let me make sure I'm actually on live, because there's nothing worse than when you're like thinking you're doing a video, but you look up and you're just not even recording. That's the worst. Done it many times, and it's very discouraging. All right, so today, you guys, I'm going to be giving y'all some gems. All right, giving y'all the updates on my prop firm journey. Just to go ahead and get right into it. I blew the E8 accounts. All right, I blew my E8 funded account. But it still felt good to get it funded. It still felt good to pass it. And I passed it in one day. I'm not going to lie. I'm not proud of the way I did it. I pretty much, it was the day that the market pretty much fell, I think, like 1,000 points. I just got in. I just got in for the sale and passed the account. Just that simple. So, but I didn't get a payout, So for me, like when I'm doing these prop firm challenges, it's not even just about getting funded at this point. I feel like I've been funded at least 7 or 8 times this year. So I know I can get funded as long as I lock in, as long as I be patient. But for me, it's just about like when I'm actually funded, controlling my emotions and just not going too far into drawdown and stuff like that, you guys. So let's get straight into this video.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I'm on African time.
Let me give this woman an introduction. This is my girlfriend, Melissa, on the mic right now. She may be doing some stuff with us, talking about, her journey as well. If that's something that y'all interested in hearing, well, whether y'all want to hear it or not, she's gonna do it if that's what she want to do. I told her that the mic is open for her as well. And without no further ado, you guys, let's get straight into this video, right? So, like I said, I blew the E8 account. I got funded with an Alpha Capital account, and I just recently bought a FTMO account. Okay. And by the way, you guys, the people who have been using my code, you guys are the best. All right. I don't know if you actually watch the channel.
Use code tracking.
Yes, use code tracking. I don't know if you actually watch the channel or not. Maybe you just clicked on maybe you just seen a thumbnail and decided to support the code. Whatever it is, I appreciate it. When y'all use like my code to buy those accounts, the people who are prop firm trading, it really helps out a lot. You know what I'm saying? I be needing all of the support that I can get, and it also makes me want to keep going when it comes to making videos and showing y'all how y'all can get payouts and stuff like that as well. So without talking too much longer, you guys, the first thing I want to do is walk y'all through my process. All right. So for me, my process, most of the time, it starts Sunday night, right? When the week starts on Sunday, that's when I first, began to look at the market and see, what is going on, right? So I'm not going to really take y'all back unless y'all want me to. If somebody say something in the chat and say that that they want me to look through the whole week, I can do that. But originally, I just wanted to look at today's price action, right? So the same way I start on Sunday at night. When it's the weekdays, I'm pretty much starting during the London session. And I like to obviously, look at the price action. But most of all, I'm looking at the midnight opening price. Okay, and that is what these lines are on my chart right here, right? If you see something that says MNO, that's gonna mean midnight opening price. All right, and then I'll also label them with the dates. October 29th, October 30th, right? Now what this does for me is just help me read price action. So like you see today, right? Today price came up and then it went, what did it do? It went right above midnight opening price. And then that held price up under all day, right? So that gave me a lot of information today. When I was trading the market, I kind of knew like this is like an intermediate term high, which means what price probably isn't going to come up here. We had equal highs up here from last Thursday, so I know that price is more than likely going to want to save this liquidity, right?
Hold on, I have a question.
What's the question?
How do you find that midnight opening price?
Okay, great question, right? How do you find the midnight opening price? So what I do is I go on the hourly chart and pretty much I find the candle, the midnight candle, right? So it's this one right here. I didn't even put this one from today on the chart because I didn't really need it. I was just using the midnight opening gap, and then I had already seen that we used this one, so I didn't really need this one.
Okay.
I would just, instead of putting this one on my chart, I would just use the top of the opening range gap since it's so close,
Okay.
just to have less stuff on my chart. But you essentially just go to the hourly. You can go to the 1 minute. You can go to pretty much any time frame and find the opening candle, the opening price. You put your vertical line on it, and then you can see these numbers up here on the top. It's going to say high, low, right? Opening, high, low, closing, right? Right there. So, yeah. And then I put my line on there, and that's pretty much it.
Thank
So
you.
I pretty much use that to read price, right? Long story short. And so as I'm waiting, because I tried to trade London before, y'all, it just don't work for me. All right, so what I like to do is I like to wait for the first presented fair value gap, and I also like to wait for the opening range gap. This pretty much forces me to be patient and try not to trade, the London session at least too much, right? Over trade it. If it's the proper setup, I may take a super small position, try to position myself early. Like right here, I was telling you, baby, earlier, look at the time on this. This is 8 a.m. I wasn't even watching the market at 8 a.m. But even all throughout here, you can kind of trust this to, maybe build a position to know that this liquidity up here isn't going to get tagged today. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how do you know this liquidity isn't going to get tagged? Well, this is the ultimate way to know for me. This is why waiting is important. Because if the market came all the way up here and didn't tag it, it's not going to tag it. It's not going to happen. Not today, because the you know the market don't play around with liquidity too many times. If it's going to do it, it's going to do it, right? And then also we have what? It's order block, right? Order block. And then what we're also going to talk about today, we had this on a 4-hour chart. We had a bearish engulfing on a 4-hour chart. So this is a extremely important candle pattern to note. As soon as you see this on a 4-hour, and then look at this, look at the timing of this candle. This candle opens up at 10 a.m. So this is why they say time and price, because think about Monday, right? Think about Tuesday. Did those days set up like today when it came to timing and price? Absolutely not. When 10 a.m. happened, the market was doing absolutely nothing on Tuesday. Monday gave you a little bit of action. Wednesday was decent. Thursday was really good. Right? But we're looking at today's price action. Right? I'm just trying to show you guys how I, you know, use these concepts to read price and build a narrative, right? Because if you don't have a narrative, you may not see these things, right? So the other thing that I use is the open and range gap. In order for me to have the open and range gap, I have to wait until 9:30 a.m. 9:30 a.m. is when I can get the open and range gap. And the way that I find it is I go to the 1 minute time frame, right? This little area down here on trading view. Click on this, and then I go to session. You have to put it in regular trading hours, right? So it's going to be the gap from Thursday's closing price, right here, from Thursday's closing price to Friday's 9:30 opening price, right? This gap is the opening range gap. I always make sure I label that and lock that on my chart. Then I switch back to electronic trading hours when I'm actually trading, right? So these are the things that I'm doing. Today I didn't even really need to use the first presented fair value gap, honestly, because I already had a pretty good narrative and everything matched, right? The timing and the price, all of that stuff matched up today. So the trade that I took is the trade that I have on my screen, you guys. Simply using this bearish engulfing candle, right? And then you notice it's at the top of the opening range gap. We already wicked past the midnight opening price, right? About nobody's closed above the midnight opening candle. I mean that line right here, right? So we have already, like, what we're doing is we're building liquidity up here. That's essentially what we're doing. Just like we're building liquidity down here. Notice how when we went inside of this 4-hour wick right here. See, I have this wick measured out with my Fibonacci tool. All right, let me remove it so I can show you guys how I measure out this wick right here. I always use the longest wick. All right, I want the biggest swing low. All right, so I will measure this out. It don't have to be perfect. I just need to measure it. I'll get an estimate so that I can see, right? Because today I was targeting about the midpoint of this wick. That's why I have my TP right here. All right, that's why I have my TP right there. And that was a good 1.7 to 1R. All right, so I'm risking 1 to get 1.7. If you use a tighter stop loss, right, some people would see this as an order block. And, people always want tighter stop losses. So if you would have moved your stop loss down here, all right, for me, this was more like a mental stop, right? So if the market would have went to this area, I would have just closed the trade and took a smaller loss, because if it breaks through this, it's going to just keep going higher, right? So that alone is a gem. That's something that you have to have in your notes, or maybe you just need to see it enough, but you need to know that, because this is an order block, and if it invalidates this order block, it's going to keep going higher. But you see, when you use this stop loss, it's a 3.53 to 1 risk to reward, right? So that's another gem. So super gem right there, right? So that's essentially the trade that we caught today. We didn't even really need to go down into the lower time frames today. The only time I went down into the lower time frames is because I was trying to scale into my trades and actually time it out really well. Right, so I'm going to take you to where I was at when the market finally started moving on a 1 minute. So I was pretty much scaling in all the way in here. And I actually thought about, let me move this real fast. All right, so I actually thought about buying this little move up right here. But I'm trying to practice some discipline and, only sell when I'm thinking about selling and not catch every move. And believe it or not, for somebody like me, that's pretty hard to do. I just be patient, especially when I literally seen this move. Like, this is completely off topic, but this was so obvious, you guys. Like, I'll give y'all another gem right here. When you see a little move like this, when we get to a key level, and based on timing and price, right? Because you remember when that 4 hour candle was closing, it closed at 10 a.m. Right? Notice the price. Notice the time on my screen right now, right? So look at this. This is 10 a.m. right here. So I already know, based on the 4 hour time frame, the market is going to want to go back up into that bearish engulfing. All right, so I'm already knowing that. So I see it starts to slow down right here, consolidates, and then it hits a key level, right? This blue line down here is what? The top of the wick on the 4 hour chart. Right, this blue line is the top of the wick on the 4 hour chart that we just measured out with our Fibonacci tool. And also note how we're also at another key level, which is the opening range gap. Right? So I'm anticipating that we're going to want to go higher. Notice how from the low to the high, this is 100-point range right there. Enough to where you can maybe get a small scalp. Because for me, my stop loss is going to be in here, this breakaway gap. So that means I may catch it a little bit late. Let's say if I get in at 118, 120, the market tops at 170, 176. So that really means I got about 50 points that I could catch. And so realistically, I may catch 20 points, maybe 30. So for me, this could be something like a scalp. Maybe I'll use like a smaller amount of my prop firm account to take this scalp, right, and just be happy with that. But I just would rather focus on the bigger move, right, the bigger picture, because this is the trade that I was actually in today, you guys. I wasn't in for this whole move because I had already made 1,700 on my FTMO account. I just got my Alpha Capital account funded, right? Yay! See my babe, we supposed to be turning up. She supposed to be over here talking with me. She over there asleep. She's been killing it too, y'all. She gonna talk to y'all one of these days, but she's tired right now. I'm just trying to show y'all, like, I'm really growing right now as a trader, and if I can help somebody understand how to do this a little bit better, it just would just make me so happy, bro. Cause I struggled with this for so long, and I'm still struggling. But this has been the best year of trading that I've ever had in my 6 to almost 7 years of trading. So let's get back on the charts. So we knew based on time and price and how it came in here and did this. Let me zoom in for y'all so y'all can see this too, right? This is a breakaway gap, right? And notice this is a really important pattern to remember right here. When the market does like this on a 1 minute chart, when it does this little fake looking like aggressive candle, and you have to see it in real time too, because it's like when it's consolidating, it's just moving really slow. Then out of nowhere, it's like they just turn the machine on and it starts moving fast. And then when it makes this pattern right here, this is more than likely going to be a breakaway gap. So that's how I'll trade those, and I will scalp those sometimes depending on how I'm feeling. I'll be honest with y'all, like I don't be trusting Fridays, man. So I'll be trying to just, if I'm gonna trade it, I'm gonna just go for the big move instead of trying to scalp. But that's how that trade will look. I will put my stop loss in there and target something like that. It's still a 2 to 1. It's still a 2 to 1, so it's not bad. Like I said, if I got a 100K account, maybe I'll risk like two or 300. And if I get a 1 to 1, I'll still be happy, right? It's a little baby cushion just in case something go wrong with this idea, right? So let me get into the idea that I actually did take, right? So I started scaling in at about 26, 140 as it was going up, but I was actually scaling in for the sell. And then I eventually got my average to 26162. Right, I eventually got my average up to here, and then right on this pullback, right about here, I was up about $1,000. Then we got a pullback up here, and I just got out. I just couldn't take it no more. I was like, man, I know it's going to drop, but I'm like, I'm tired. It's been a long week. Trading can just be so exhausting. It can be so mentally exhausting. So, like I said, I was up almost 2%. I was like, I'm taking it. And as you guys can see on a 1 minute chart, they definitely did come up here and fake some people out too. Look at these 1 minute candles, right? It's two 1 minute candles. This was like over 100-point move just with two 1 minute candles. So it did try to go up there and fake some people out as well. But eventually it hit the target, the midpoint of that wick, you guys, the midpoint of that 4-hour wick. And that is this yellow line right here. I will go back to the 4-hour time frame to show you guys again. All right. That was a cool feature. I'm trying to figure out what did I just do to make the screen slide, but it's just green wick right here. This the longest swing low. All right, so that's essentially all that happened for Friday, you guys. I would break down the entire week right now, but I just don't even really have the energy. I just wanted to come on here and kick it with y'all real quick, give y'all the updates, and just say whoever is using my code, I really do appreciate you. You're the real GOAT. Whoever is liking the videos, whoever is coming through and chatting, you know what I'm saying? Bandit Assassin, shout out to you. You know, I think that's my brother. Bandit Assassin. Who is that? Is that Nay? I think that's Nay. So shout out to Nay, man, in the chat. So y'all are awesome. Like I said, I would stay on all night. Y'all know I could talk about trading all day. Oh, it seems like we getting some people in here now. I might actually stay now. I might stick around. Let me see somebody comment in the chat who just pulled up. So, long story short, y'all, man, like I feel like if y'all just learn how to wait, right? Since we got a couple more people in here, I'm gonna give y'all a couple more gems. If y'all just learn how to wait throughout the week, use this daily time frame, right? When the market was going up all week, it was hard for me to trade any of this. Right? I needed to wait for more market structure. And this is where they talk about daily bias, right? Because when the market was going up just relentlessly, no pullbacks, I didn't know what to do. It wasn't until we kind of stopped and then we broke through this high and closed below. Now we're kind of like, all right, we're losing strength, so we can kind of find some easy setups within those days. That's why today was real easy. Yesterday, it was like it wasn't hard, but I made some mistakes and I went into heavy drawdown. But we was able to climb back out. I posted a short. If you guys haven't seen the most recent short that I posted, check that out because I was talking about a trade that I think I took that trade Thursday, right? And all I had to do was risk 700 on my prop firm account to be up about 4,200. So, you know, if you really want to like get serious about getting funded, right? Getting like, cause you can really turn your life around, and I feel like I'm close. Like I'm close to turning my life around with these prop firms. Like I said, this has been the best year so far. Like I was funded 1.5 million with Apex. I was funded with Top Step, I believe, this year. I was funded with Funding Pips. I was funded with Funder Pro. I was funded with E8 Markets, Alpha Capital, um, My Funding Futures. I was funded with a lot of different people this year, but I feel like for me, some like I like a lot of different companies, but my top companies are going to obviously be E8 Markets, Funder Pro, um, FTMO and Alpha Capital. Like, you know, I just like the traditional prop firms, and yeah, I feel like I don't really need too many accounts. I just want to have like maybe 3 or 4 accounts, all like 50K accounts or 100K accounts, 200K, whatever, however big. But the main goal is just to manage an account for a long time and make as much money as I can, and just use that one account to just keep growing. So I'm not gonna talk y'all to death, man, too much longer. But I will see y'all in the next video, man. Peace out. I hope y'all got some gems from this. So see y'all in the next one. Make sure y'all drop that like.